Classic American buttercream is the recipe that most cake bakers start with. It's sturdy, pipeable, you can adjust the consistency, and you can color it very easily. It's also probably the easiest buttercream you can make. For starters, no surprise here, you're going to need butter. This is a cup of salted butter, though I'll give you notes later if you're using unsalted. And it's been sitting at room temperature a bit, so it's soft enough to stir easily. So we'll put this in a large mixing bowl. And then before we add anything else, I like to just take my mixer and start creaming the butter until it's like smooth and creamy. This is going to help the rest of our ingredients combine. This recipe scales really well, so you can double it, triple it, quadruple it, that's fine. For every 1 cup of butter, you're going to need 4 cups, which I believe is 500 grams of powdered sugar. Now, some of you may have seen one of my favorite hacks for adding all of the powdered sugar at once and not making a mess, but today I want to show you the traditional method for adding sugar to buttercream. We're going to add about a cup of powdered sugar to start. You don't want to add it all at once if you're doing it this way. As for the sugar, I don't sift my sugar. It's not a problem I really run into, but if yours tends to be lumpy, you'll want to sift it. Do that after measuring. We're also going to add our vanilla extract here. You'll need 2 teaspoons of your favorite vanilla extract. Now, if you used unsalted butter in this recipe, you would add a pinch of salt here. I usually just add an 1/8 teaspoon of salt. At the end, I'll taste it, and if I feel like it needs a little bit more, I'll add a bit more. Recently, I've been using salted butter for recipes that we're not baking, and it's become my preference for making frostings. All right, we'll stir in the powdered sugar, and this process can get kind of messy, so I like to do this gradually. That way I don't end up wearing all of the sugar, and neither does my counter. I hated making icing for such a long time because it was always so messy for me. We're going to gradually add the rest of our powdered sugar, about a cup at a time. And of course you can use a stand mixer for today's recipe, but today I'm just using my electric hand mixer. I think we can add the rest of our sugar here. Okay, we're not done yet. At this point, your frosting probably is going to seem a little bit dry, not super spreadable. It's just going to be really stiff. Normal. We are going to fix that. The next very, very important ingredient for your frosting is a bit of cream or milk. I really prefer heavy cream, but whole milk will work instead. Just note you're going to probably need a little less milk because it's thinner. Exactly how much you need is going to vary. I find I typically need between 2 and 4 tablespoons. It's adjustable depending on the consistency you want. It is possible to add too much cream though, and then your frosting could break. Move slowly and with caution. You usually start with just about a tablespoon of cream. We'll stir this in, and here's where you're going to notice the magic really happening. So after a couple seconds, I can tell I want to add a bit more, and this is just based off of the consistency I'm looking for, which is sturdy and pipeable, but still creamy and nice for spreading over a cake if I wanted to. And it's a good idea to stop periodically and just kind of take a look at it and see how the frosting feels to you. Beautiful. I'm going to add a little bit more cream. We're at about 3 tablespoons here, and that'll probably be all I add today. And once that last tablespoon is incorporated, now I'm going to turn the mixer to medium high or high speed, and I'm just going to kind of whip it for like a minute. Let's take a look. So it's nice and creamy and silky. I'm happy with this consistency, and if I wanted to add food coloring, I would add it here. I highly recommend a gel food coloring. It doesn't change the consistency of your frosting, and it colors really well. I will link to my favorites in the description. Now, sometimes, this hasn't really happened today, but sometimes when you whip your frosting really well, you get little pockets of air in there. You don't really want these if you're going for a smooth spread over your cake. If that happens, here's what you want to do. Take your spatula and just kind of smush the frosting against the side of the bowl until the air bubbles are gone. Before you go, a question I get all of the time from people is how to use a piping bag. So let me just tell you really quickly a few tricks that make this process really easy. First, usually I'm just one person and trying to fill the bag like one-handed. I feel like an infomercial. It's always super messy. So all you need is just to take your piping bag, take the tip, fold the tip up, and then just take a glass. A larger glass will work if you have a ton of frosting, but a small one will do. Press that in the glass, just fold the top over, and then fill it up. This is great when I'm decorating cakes by myself. Another tip, make sure your piping bag doesn't have any air bubbles in it, so press that frosting down as you go, as I fill that. A little more space. All right, and then you just pull it out, and then you take the bag, press down the frosting, and always twist from the top. So you close it at the top, and you just want to twist it like that. You don't want any of the frosting to end up above your hand, or it's going to spill out and make a mess. And then go ahead and decorate your cake or cupcakes. This is one of my favorite piping tips. This is the Attico 848. And then of course, I recommend some sprinkles on top for a finishing touch. These are my favorite vanilla cupcakes. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what recipe you would like to see next, and I will see you next time. Honestly, best American buttercream I've ever tasted. I didn't really know how to say that word, so I was going to not say it initially. I love that kid. Is that too much? I don't know. These things collect hair. Is that okay?